You can tune either with the remote unit from your easy chair or use the push button panel in the cabinet.
Oops, shit. Hey, what's up guys, Jesse. Hey, what's up guys, Jesse Petrini. So this is the part 2 of the Connecticut video, and this is going to be mainly focused on the drop and everything that went into making that. So with the drop, there was a lot of in between of After Effects and Premiere that I had to do. So especially with the drawing effect, which if no one knows, this drawing effect was created by Sam Colder, and there's a few YouTube tutorials out there on how to do it, but I'll give you a quick sum up of what it was. So what I did for this effect is I took the first frame of the drop, so that's like right there, printed it out, drew it, or printed that out, then I drew it on a sketch pad so it looked artistical. This is the first time I tried tracing it, it didn't come out good. So then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit down, draw it, looks like that, kind of bad. To be honest, but so drew it, and then you really can't tell how bad it is in here because the effect comes in so quick. So once you're done with that effect, all you have to do is warp it into the next clip, which that warp effect where it starts pulling like the red, blue, and green, I also did that in After Effects, and that's simple. I'll just show you in that other tutorial. But so what happens was it just warps right into the first hyperlapse, and if you don't know what a hyperlapse is, it's pretty much just a moving time lapse where every single shot you're taking, so if this is my focus and this is me with my tripod and my camera, every shot I'm taking one shot and then moving a step closer in between every single shot. So that's going to be every 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever. You're going to take the shot, move a step closer. What you want to make sure is you're focusing on the same exact thing the entire time. So my main focus on this shot was this little center point right here. So as I'm getting closer or further away, I'm panning to make sure that this shot is in like the little square sensor on my camera. It's in between that the entire time. So with the next shot, I think my focus was this square right here, and I wanted to make sure that the camera was on that the entire time I zoomed into it. So it just makes that really cool effect of the clouds moving in above it and you're only moving a little bit. So it just makes that, yeah, so cool. Next, it just goes into a bunch of hyperlapses, a bunch of time lapses, just zooms in and zooms outs, and it's not that hard to do. I mean, my thinking going into this, I had all of my hyperlapses done, all the time lapses done. I had all of them just sitting there waiting to get used up throughout the entire drop. So it was just picking ones, putting them there, and then I know for certain things I had cool drone footage of it, so I would do just like a highlight reel of each little location that I went to. So like the first one is like some Hartford shots, because everyone knows Hartford, everyone knows these two things in Hartford. Then this was like the garden in Hartford. The next shot was this really cool church that I saw on the side of the road that just got built, I think last year, and I had some drone footage, time-lapse footage, and then went into the Seville Dam, which I have hyperlapse footage. Thought I had a drone shot. Oh, the drone shot's in the beginning. And then it goes to like beach stuff, little zoom out, did that. That effect was done in After Effects in one of my old videos, the ham and acid one. So I just literally pulled that right in and just threw it in there. Then it goes to just a shot of me. So the separating between craziness to regular, you want to give the user like a break between like what's going on, but only a short little break, so it's like they can blink, and then it all sucks you right back in. So you have like this whole sequence of just a lot of stuff going on, and then you get a little break. And one, this just shows like me, so it's like obviously in your own travel video you want to show yourself and like who's the person behind the whole thing and who's the guy behind the mask. So it shows me, and then goes into some cool time-lapse stuff. All this was just I cropped in, cropped in like a hell of a lot on that, and you could see the clock going, and then just zoom out to the whole frame. There's no crazy effects used. It's just scaling from one to the next and making sure it's positioned right. And then with the sound, I just added that little like zoom sound, like a little crank sound kind of feel, and it just sounds natural and looks good. So kind of the main thing you want to think about is you can do really whatever you want in your video and the effects in your video. You just have to build a sound behind it so that if it sounds natural and you barely even realize it happening, that means you're doing the right thing. You don't want to make sounds too loud, too soft. Obviously not too soft because then you can't hear them, but you don't want to make them too loud and overbearing to where you can notice it and it's starting to affect what you're watching, and you're thinking to yourself, why is this so loud, blah blah blah, I'm starting to hate it. So then I just go into some bridge shots. Simple. Probably could have used one less bridge shot, but went from the bridge shots, which is like that break that I was talking about in between all of the chaos, and just gives you like that time to like reset, and then it goes right back into the hyperlapses. That one's cool. This guy looks really good in those too. And then another break, so this separates the two drops, and like I said, it's another time where I get to show myself, so it's like the man behind the camera, and it's just a cool like artsy type thing. I think this was a reflection of myself at the Gold Building in Hartford, Connecticut, so it was kind of cool just to add yourself into it. And then just kicks right back in, just more and more hyperlapses and just craziness. So this shot I saw, or I didn't think of this clocks shot up until I want to say halfway through the filming throughout the entire summer. And in that New York video I mentioned in the first, well, if you go on Vimeo, look up a video called Taste of New York, and in that video they have a shot, it's like the prime shot of the entire thing that probably took the longest to do. And what they did is they walked around New York City, and everywhere they walked they would take pictures of taxi cabs and from different angles, and then what they did is they had a shot of the taxi driving and then them doing a 360 time lapse or hyperlapse around the taxi cab just from all the different angles. And I think they said it took around like 3 days just to do that one like 6-second shot, and I'm pretty sure it was probably like 700 to 1,000 shots of taxis that they had to just structure that would look like a full 360 around it. So I wanted to do some type of pinnacle shot in the entire video that would look really cool and also make people feel great about Connecticut. So I wanted a shot similar to that kind of tied the whole video together and reminded you why you're watching it. And I thought the clock shot would be really cool because all the clocks are kind of similar, and it's not, I mean, I'm not doing a 360 pan around them like they did with the taxi, but if I could just do an hour at each location and keep the clock dial moving the entire time, it would look really interesting and unique. And no, I've never really seen that before. I've seen it just of like a clock spinning, but never a bunch of clocks put together. So that was just, like I said, adding your own style to a video of a bunch of other people's styles. So all it was just a bunch of clocks, each one was a different hour, and just putting them together. So after that, I feel like it's just, you, as a viewer, you're just like, you didn't blink through that entire part. So you're just gonna keep watching, just more drone shots, speed ramps, really easy. These, I did all handheld. This was just another thing I was trying out, and it kind of looks cool. I wish I had my gimbal at this point. I didn't have it when I was filming over the summer, and I was just ninja stepping around these objects and just doing circles. And then same thing with this, but all you got to do is just ninja step around it as best you can, try to support the weight of the camera. A lot of my video work is handheld, so I'm used to doing that, and all you got to do is once you put it in After Effects is just warp stabilize it, and it should smooth it out enough. If it doesn't look good, then you can't use it, but if it comes out all right, like these shots, then they're usable. This shot I had and I forgot about it, and it's the Mark Twain house, and I really didn't want to use it in that spot because everything's kind of like going crazy, and then it's just a shot of the Mark Twain house, and it's like, what? But oh, there's some media missing. But I had to add it just because I had to. But at this point, my knowledge base was they're watching this far, so they're not gonna shut it off if I put it on in that one spot as opposed to in the beginning where it just would be boring. So then just, yeah, that was it. Sunset shots just to really make it look cool. Slowing up. Yeah. Just ending it with a lot of subtle, nice drone clips. Most of my drone shots, I normally am panning around the subject. I mean, there's cool shots of like zooming over and, or flying over and panning down, or flying out and panning up. You can do shots like that, but for me, I'm just more of a spinning around guy because it shows the most movement. The background moves a lot more and things like that. But yeah, so that's the second part. There's a lot more that goes into it, and I can go really in depth of just what I did for scaling and like the numbers behind all of these things, but that's a little too much information, and I don't want people to be focusing on like the specifics of what they need to be doing. You should just be trying to make it as best as you can and just play around with it. You don't have to be using the same exact color corrections as me. Just play with what you like, and once you know what you like, you'll be using it a lot. For color correction, I'm just using a bunch of LUTs, but since I have them in adjustment layers, so you can pull it up and down and see how much you actually want. But for the most part, just keep it simple, and if there's anything else that you guys want me to talk about specifically in this video, let me know. But please subscribe, more videos coming soon. Gonna be doing more tutorials on Premiere, like 101, just a lot more in-depth little things that can help everyone out in just how their creative minds are going and how they think of how they edit and what they're filming. So thanks for watching.